So Five Horizons is now available in all of the Amazon sites around the world, and increasingly, I hope, in bookstores. I'd like it to do well, but I think the main reason is to talk about people and how people choose who they're going to work for, and how people choose what they're going to buy and who they're going to buy from. And that's always been important in business, right? So it's why we choose to make changes in our portfolio and how we go about our business. And we're always on the lookout for the highest caliber employees and the best quality customers, and we try to secure them and keep their loyalty. So when there's a fundamental shift happening in the basis on which people choose who they're going to work for and why, and or who they're going to buy from and why, we need to be alert to that, right? And so these conditions that are changing so rapidly, fundamentally shifting the buying criteria and employment criteria of people, we need to know how to treat that information, right? It's like any disruptive discontinuity that happens. And I tend to have been involved in a few of these from time to time because I'm called in to help companies decode what to do about them and how to factor that into a strategic analysis framework and build a program of activity to protect the company from falling victim to that disruption or to capitalize on the opportunity and make it happen. So the book tries to bring not only the alerting people to the issues. And I think we've all heard quite a lot about what issues exist in the world. If you don't know what they are, look at the United Nations website for the Sustainable Development Goals. They're on that list for a reason, okay? Because people care about that stuff. It needs to be fixed. And businesses are at the heart of the solution. I don't think we need to wait really for governments to tell us what to do. It's going to take a long time, and we don't have that time. Businesses that figure this out and figure out how to differentiate on this basis are going to come out of this curve the winners. And as with all disruptive discontinuities, the ones that wait and see are probably going to be among the ones who fail. And then you'll have others that try to keep up. So my aim with this book is to actually provide people with the tools that they need to have intelligent conversations around their business environment, to structure those conversations in a way that helps them glean what's really going to affect the competitive dynamics of their markets. And how do they articulate that to shareholders and the board of directors to prove that it's important to do these things, but in a structured timeline so that you're timing it according to how the timeline unfolds. And of course, we talk a lot in this, or I wrote a lot in this book about the importance of being purpose-led and establishing a sense of meaning around doing more good as a company or avoiding the potential for doing harm, because that will be under as much scrutiny as your profitability projections. When investors are talking to you and looking at you, when customers are looking at you, people want to know that they're not buying into something that is generally doing harm around the planet or around the employee, supply chain employees, or whatever it is, right? So I think that there needs to be a lens that people can use to examine their business value chain, the value chains of those that they buy from who are in their suppliers, and the value chains of those who fall down the customer supply chain end of your value chain, and see what harm is being done, to see what opportunities exist for good, to look at how that can be leveraged for brand value and for differentiation, to look at where there's real vulnerabilities that you can perhaps create ways of addressing those vulnerabilities, and to look at places where you or your competitors could be doing harm, and you need to be the first to move on that, right? So it's actually a framework to follow, and it's a way of justifying this, and it's a way of engaging. It helps you to engage your people and your suppliers' people and your customers' people in a productive way, listening to those outliers, listening to those contrarians and nonconformists, because there, could lie the secret of what you need to act upon, not pushing that away and imagining that because they're outliers, it doesn't exist in the mainstream outlook of things. I promise you, outliers are there for a reason. That's an early warning signal of what sits within the mindset of the mainstream somewhere at a certain level. And when it reaches a tipping point, it becomes a predominant influencing criteria for the selection of jobs where you're going to work or products or suppliers you're going to buy from. And that we've got to watch out for, right? So this is like any disruptive discontinuity, except it's one that's reached such a head of steam and such a built up unserved demand. This is about ethics. This is about sustainability. It's about resilience in society and business. There's such a head of steam behind this, and it is not being answered, right? So as business leaders, we have the opportunity to either wait and see, which is fine. We have the opportunity to see what other people are doing and follow that trend and react. Or we have the ability to think about it and study it and use our intellects to first of all, use our intellects, but also have the humility to accept the ideas from the other people around us. And then structure that into a go-to-market strategy, and differentiate, build value, make an impact that's positive. So that's in brief. And there's it's a 200-odd page book, so I couldn't read it all out to you. Maybe in the Audible version, I will do that. But for the sake of now, that's a bit of an introduction as to why this is an important piece of work, I think. And I'd love you to pick it up. You can pick up a copy on Kindle, and it's also paperback and hardback. And I hope you enjoy it. I'll be setting up events to take your feedback. I hope you register as well on the website so that we can keep you in touch with the resources that come online, the opportunities to collaborate as well. We're looking to bring people together so that they can help each other, perhaps using this framework and other tools that are reflected in the process and in the recommendations of the book, to figure out ways that they can tackle this challenge and come out winning on the other side of it. And stay in touch. Bye.